Hello, my name is Darrell,
And my name is Greg.
and this is Inside the Mastermind. And today we have with us as our guest Nik Ridley. And Greg will go ahead and talk a little bit more about Nik, and we'll kind of go ahead and jump right in.
Okay, yeah, but then also just so you guys know, if you haven't been here before, thanks for joining us. And here at Inside the Mastermind, what we do is actually focus on five main areas of life, which are mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and socially. And we actually are improving these areas in our own lives, as well as helping you, the viewers, do the same in creating a life of meaning, abundance, and freedom. So, yeah, thanks for joining us today, Mr. Nik. And all right, so we'll go ahead and just jump right into it. So the first question that I actually have for you is, can you tell us more about who you are, who is Nik Ridley, and your role with the Phoenix community and beyond?
Okay, who I am. Once again, thank you for having me on the show, brothers. I'm really loving what you guys are doing and love how we can definitely support each other. You know, I model that type of behavior. From checking out your channels, man, you guys got some powerful stuff. You're really going to be trending here. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. Just want to say that. You know, I'm an old corny guy now, so I kind of can say that at this point in my life. But that said, who am I? I'm originally from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and was in Denver for the last 19 years. Actually moved to Phoenix 2017, last March, to open up an art gallery. And my background is mainly in the arts and the nonprofit sector. I went to Purdue for business management and African American studies, so a double major. And basically just took that and got into the business of art, if you will, not from well, let me clarify that. The business of art, meaning that in order to do what we love, we have to be able to monetize it. And you know what I mean? And give enough value to where individuals will believe in us and then transfer that currency that we call money. But, you know, it's energy, like currency, like current. It's truly energy exchange. So that has led me here. When I'm in the Phoenix community, actually met some dynamic individuals in the community here. Came here, of course, in the art thing. Actually have a exhibit, Phoenix Center for the Arts, for the month of October. I'm the feature artist there. Thank you for allowing me to do that. Phoenix Center for the Arts, shout out to them. Rashad Thomas out there in the engagement division, really doing a lot of great work, just to name a few, but thanks to all that are involved. So, and just currently put together podcasts such as yourself called The Nik Free Show for diverse perspectives and trends, and just really having some fun. And it's kind of a vague, broad question. I hope I'm not, you know.
Yeah, no. I think you're right on one point. You kind of gave us a little bit more about you, and you kind of mentioned right there the Nik Free Show. So I think this is a great opportunity to kind of ask you, tell us a little bit more about the Nik Free Show, kind of what your goal is with that show, and who's the audience that would be interested in kind of that podcast, that movement that you're creating.
The Nik Free Show came about out of, ironically, almost necessity. I had a contract with a local nonprofit here that had ended in June, and it ended quicker than what we anticipated due to shifting things. And luckily, for the previous 2 months, I had actually started building the infrastructure to have a podcast. Now, mind you, for the last 5 years, I've been mulling over the podcast thing, so on and so forth. But, I just didn't have the bandwidth to do it. I didn't have the desire. It was an idea, but it wasn't to the point where it was a desire. You know what I'm saying? And ironically, 2 months before the contract ceased, I started building this infrastructure. So I got everything together and doing so and so. And I'm like, okay, why am I doing this? And then I started writing town topics. And then it finally said, you know what, go ahead and make it happen to answer the call. And I don't want to make it seem like it's a haphazard type of situation, but it was just more like I just woke up one day and from my experience, the Most High just put it in me and told me, hey, go ahead and make this happen. That was one aspect of it. What it's ending up being is that it allowed me to really express what I'm seeing in the world, not just politically, but socially, spiritually, the whole nine. And our approach is to really make it holistic. You know what I'm saying? And the diverse perspective aspect of it is we're not looking at it diversity in terms of, oh, we have people from different segments per se. It's more in terms of the diverse perspective is inherent that I would be considered as a diverse perspective, a so-called person of color. You know what I mean? So inherently in it, it's already that. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to have that, you know what I mean? That thing, that other thing, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And, I've had a chance to listen to your show, and it's amazing. So thank you for that. And guys, can't wait for you to listen to the Nik Free Show as well. So that kind of leads me to my next question. By me just listening to some of your, your podcast, you focus on a lot of community and then social aspects as well. When and when was your earliest memory of an idea of a community and actually forming that or getting that type of information out there?
Say it again, brother.
Yeah, well, sorry. What and when was your earliest memory of an idea of like a community, like forming a community or focusing on those different aspects with like the Nik Free Show, just having different people on your show, diverse people, various backgrounds, entrepreneurs, just doing their own thing to try to help other people. When was your idea of actually like community, like getting a community aspect into your show and life?
I see what you're saying. Well, I think that was just natural because being an artist, that's just inherent in being an artist is engaging the community. You know what I mean? People got to buy your albums. People got to go to your shows. People got to watch your plays. So I think that was kind of already hardwired. You know what I mean? I never even thought about it that way, actually. So I would assume that it was just hardwired because that's the way I've always approached things. You know what I'm saying? And related, and as it related to this type of stuff. In terms of, and this isn't my first podcast. I had a podcast, actually, I received a grant through Live Well in Denver, Colorado, under Civic Canopy. And there were, Kaiser had given funds in Colorado for like, a lot of health initiatives, eating well, you know what I mean? Fitness, those type of things. And I received a grant to develop a communications plan between nonprofits, mainly for Northeast Denver side, which was a part of the underserved community, so to speak. And they needed a communications plan so that the nonprofit providers, the agencies such as Health and Human Services, and the public could really know what was going on. You know what I mean? And because oftentimes, for whatever reasons, a lot of that information is disconnected. So residents don't know what resources are out there. And then nonprofits are having problem with engaging the residents to understand what their programs are. And then, the human, and then human services, and then not knowing who's being compliant or where to even send individuals. You know what I'm saying? So they said, we need a communications plan. And I submitted a proposal to create a social media network, like a Facebook of fitness, health, and food for underserved communities. And it was called Go Well. And the grant was only for a year. So we had it up for a year. We had a few hundred people sign up and, some community events. And actually, I can send you some links to YouTube in terms of what's happening, like Harvest Share with Gerald Hamill. He would have a huge community-wide event where it was just all fresh produce that would be distributed with live bands and, just the whole nine. And like this little bodega that was in the middle of the East Side. So when after Go Well was complete, and thank you to everyone that was involved with that. That was so awesome. It was so much of a team effort. And I truly mean that. After that, I found out a podcast were a part of that. And I would interview, and I would actually go around to the community, and we would actually we had a program with Civic Canopy, because then I became on the board afterward. And we would disseminate basically a few $1,000s per month for anyone that had an idea. Basically, the community member could submit a one-page proposal for anything that was health-related, fitness-related, or wellness-related, confined to the Northeast Side. And then if they pitched it and they had a sound plan, sound budget, we would give them up to, $5,000 per person. So every month we were doling out money to community members for awesome ideas that, wouldn't break the bank, in order to create community gardens, in order to have health and fitness programs in the local church that was mainly Latina. You know what I'm saying? And non-English speaking, so it was, or a culture garden market, for example, which occupied a warehouse district. And it was like a total organic, almost fertilizers to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, so these were the type of, and these were also grantees that was, some were shoring up funds, some were coming for a one-off, it depended on the situation. But, that experience showed me the podcast, and that experience showed me the power of podcasts and the power of interviewing, and really, and it being a medium to engage community, especially with the technology we have right now.
That's awesome. And I think you kind of answered our next question here pretty well, but let me just see if you can add anything to that. So, like, how do you think one goes about building a good community if you're just kind of starting from scratch there?
That's a good question. With our team, because I'm also co-owner of Good Karma Makers, which is a media design, promotion, advertising, branding agency, small boutique, along with co-owner Leah Marche. Shout out to Leah Marche out there. Which actually is our promotion arm for the art endeavors for the Nik Free Show. It's powered by this back end, which is my professional expertise. You know what I'm saying? In marketing, branding, and design. And what we tell our teams is that you're dating. View everything as if you're dating. Put your best foot forward. Make sure that, your beard is trimmed up or your fade is tight. Make sure your lipstick is looking nice. Wear the right colors. You know what I'm saying? Be nice. Say the right things. Look at everyone as if you're dating them, and then and do that like you were in a kindergarten in the sandbox. So y'all coming with an innocence in it. You know what I'm saying? Just play nice in the sandbox. And I think that that's the way you build community. And what that means is that really engagement. When we were in kindergarten, we were in the sandbox, no matter what color it was, no matter what gender it was, we were just happy to be in that space. And then we were cool. And it didn't take a lot for us. We didn't have no money. There were no cars involved. We were just sitting there. We had a couple of toys, and then we were like just really doing our own thing. And I think really approaching it from that perspective, and I know it sounds corny, but it's true. It's pragmatic and it works. I've tried the other ways too. And like yesterday's podcast I had on my show, I talked about relationships, and it's all about relationships. And one of the first tenet that from what it was coming to me was, before you need them, talk to them. And when you do that, you show you care about them. If we're at a networking event, because these networking events are the rave. We met at a networking event, you know what I'm saying? But let's take our example. Okay, I'm gonna go on a stream. I'm not gonna be too verbose here. But remember, we met at a networking, yes, Phoenix, I believe it was, which was awesome. They really classy, really well put together. I don't know who put it together, but if you get this message, it was dope. I loved it. It was mad classy. And I got to meet these brothers. So, hey, y'all, it works. I gave y'all like a plug for nothing. But anyway, so, the way that we met, it was more like, not like, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? Like more like, well, hell, do you have something that I can get from this? Because that's really what do you do means. You know what I'm saying? So, and we were more like, okay, how you doing? How you doing? We sat down and then, hey, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I do this, you do that, so on and so forth. You got a show, I got a show, let's do it. And it was simple, but it was definitely reciprocity. And I think that was the key. It was reciprocity. We could both see that we were genuinely of shared values, shared interests. And furthermore, we had a willingness for each other to succeed. And that's, as I said yesterday, that's energetic. That's not something that we manufacture. The colloquialisms I said yesterday, we know when to smile. We know when to say, oh, awesome. We know, you know what I'm saying? No judgment. You know what I mean? No judgment. Everybody code switches. For those out there, everybody code switches. A lot of times in our community, we think, oh, well, if you go in there, you're talking like them people. You know what I'm saying? If you go to Mexico, you're going to code switch, baby. So I'm just saying, and when you're at a network, you're code switching. It's a whole different type of code switch. It depends on the culture. That said, act like you give a damn about somebody. Sorry about that. And I think the rest works itself out. Play nice in the sandbox. Pretty simple.
Awesome. That was a great explanation. Like you said, yeah, we met at a networking event. It wasn't just about, it was more of, I always like to say, when you are, no matter what type of business you have to make it more relational than just transactional. So like, it's a true relationship. We get, hey, yeah, maybe we can talk to each other. But it was like, just how are you doing? Okay, go enjoy your night. And we went our own ways, but then we connected again. And look, we're on the show right now. So awesome. Thank you. So my next question for you would be, for a beginner, someone who's starting out, since you're an expert, how would someone avoid either damaging the community or burning bridges, or like if they're trying to build a community and maybe become even like a public figure in a sense to, you put yourself out there, people can see you. How would you avoid damaging or having that negative, feel?
You can't. That's human nature. You got the story of Cain and Abel. I mean, That's been here before us, y'all. Sorry. So there's no way to protect ourselves from those elements which may be adverse and uncomfortable, even unfair. But at the same time, we have to realize it's par for the course. And all promotion is good promotion. As long as you are being authentic, right or wrong, because we're all going to make mistakes. We've all made mistakes. We've all done things to where there's skeletons in the closet. With this internet deal, it just makes it like it's a window in front of that door now. That's the only difference. Nothing is new. So everything is going to be exposed. And, but as long as you are authentic and as long as you are saying, you know what, when I messed up, I messed up. When you can say, you know what, well, I hit a home run, y'all, I hit a home run. We can't be afraid to say I hit a home run because somebody's going to say, well, you messed up. That's life. Absolutely. And I'm going to for any of you out there, I'm going to keep on messing up because that means I'm living. And trust me, my life, I've had a windy road. This is not from me coming down from a mountaintop with some scrolls, feel me? As if, this is not that. I'm 43, I'll be 44. Trust me, you know what I'm saying? I didn't just fall off the apple cart. So this is experience for what it's worth. You know what I mean? And one thing I have learned, though, because I've been that guy, too. We've all been that guy or gal or woman or man or non-gendered, whatever. Okay, you've got to keep that cool. So just saying, just generally, I just know about this guy. You know what I'm saying? So all we can do is just prepare for it. But most importantly, not let that deter us from doing what the Most High has us here to do. Have the courage that I know whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And no matter what, I got to keep and push through it. You know what I'm saying? And not disparage those even that are even talking or saying something negative about you or want to pin you down. Because see, everyone has an interest. Everyone has an interest. People knocking you down or trying to, rather, because whether you get knocked down or not is on you. But someone attempting to knock you down, that you can't worry about it. Use it to your advantage. Use that energy they're putting at you and really put it into your work. Truly diffuse that situation like karate. They kicking at you. Okay, it may connect, but make sure that you just diffuse that energy somewhere else and not be worried about if someone's going to kick. Feel me?
I understand. Like kind of like a keto, I think maybe does the same, kind of has the same idea, like use somebody else energy against them. Now, kind of like switching energy here a little bit, like, are there any social butterflies out there? Are there any heroes that you have that are just kind of great at building community there that you kind of look up to or say are like a great example of how to do that?
Yes.
Other than yourself.
No, I wouldn't even. I'm a part of the whole. We texted yesterday. You're like, it's all about you. I said, it's all about us. I can't handle all this by myself. I mean, maybe y'all got stuff. When you can, give me whatever you got. The juice, the elixir, the powers, the knowledge, whatever it's got to be. When y'all figure that out, you let me know. I know full well at this point in my life, you know what I'm saying, that the lone wolf don't make it. So, question again?
Sure. The question is, do you have any heroes or...
There we go, heroes. I'm sorry. The hero.
Building
us. Community. Us, everyday people. The people that go and work at Safeway, the people that are fixing our buses, the people that ain't got a job and looking for it hard, but the people that ain't got a job and ain't looking for one, but they're nice to their neighbors and they know their community and they watching their back and they're making sure nobody's kicking down somebody's door. You know what I'm saying? Those are the people that I look up to. And they can do the research about me. I've always been that type of person. I don't mind cleaning the toilets. I don't. If you don't clean the toilets, you can never be an emperor. I'm not trying to be an emperor, but you got to be able to clean. You have to be able to follow an order in order to give one. And you have to be and walk amongst the people and know the pain of the people and the joys of the people in order to, if the people decide, take up a role of leadership within the people, with the people. And I'm very clear when I'm saying that, role of leadership with the people. You know what I'm saying? So I say the average, everyday, unsung person is who if I would consider anybody or anyone a hero per se, it would be them. The figurehead is just a manifestation of the masses. Trump is just a manifestation of a particular mass of individuals on a, I would say, visual tip. But Trump is also a true representation of what this American culture has come to be, which is about money, which is about celebrity. Hell, everybody on social media got the best profile pic. Feel me? Selfie in itself is a testament to that. And I'm not judging that, but what at all. That's why I don't get caught up in all of that, because I realize that everything is a reflection of something else. As I said yesterday in our podcast, everything is in relationship to something else in the universe. You just can't do it. H2O, the primary thing. You got hydrogen, you got oxygen, they're in a relationship. And that's the foundation of the universe. So if as above, so below, as it has been said before in a different way, you know what I'm saying? I think the same applies here. I hope I answered that question. The everyday people.
Awesome. Thank you. No doubt. That was a great explanation. Appreciate that. Okay. And let's say, what advice or pointers would you give someone who wants to actually initiate or start a community on their own? What advice would you give them to try and start to do that?
Start with having a relationship with a power that's bigger than yourself, no matter how you perceive that or how you need to receive that. Number one. Number two, start with your family. Start with your family. Start with your family. My mother, may she rest in peace, passed in 2018. Her 2008, I'm sorry. Her thing was always, baby, she would tell me and my younger brother, there's nothing more important than family. You know, and through my trials and tribulations in terms of having my own family, you know, and what goes along with that at this context and time and what can happen. I always will go back to that. Start first, because if everyone is taking care of their family, then your block is already secure. Then your city is already in tune. Then your nation is in one accord. Then your world can live together within peace, love, and harmony, because everybody's taking care of their own stuff. So then that takes care of itself. It becomes truly an organic process. Anything else is biting off more than we can chew.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead, Nick. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Oh, I am. I'm waiting for y'all.
So I guess my next question was just going to be like, hey, if somebody is in kind of a negative situation, negative community, or a community that's grown stagnant there, what would you say, and they're looking to expand out to something more positive, what would be some tips you might suggest in order to kind of switch the positivity of that community or grow into a better community there? Any suggestions on that?
Yes, I have two. The first suggestion would be absolutely go out and try to engage with other networks and communities, for sure. That's a part of life. Travel, you know what I mean? So definitely do that. The second part I would say is what I visited my daughter. My daughter is 14. She'll be 14 actually, September 9th. Yeah. And I flew out to Denver about a month ago. Okay. And I remember we were at an art museum, and it cracked me up because her and her brother were beefing, and I was like, okay, y'all, we're beefing, you know, daddy moment. Okay. And in that, my what I was saying was, and what I told her and I told him was that I said, have you ever done anything that he has made that you're pissed because this is happening? Have you ever done that before? And she was like, yeah, daddy. I said, okay. I said, what else is going on? She told me. I said, so have you done that before? Yeah, daddy. I said, okay. I said, so I think the lesson in this is you might want to have a little bit more compassion, and you might just be mad at what you may be too. Meaning, for those of us that are in those negative communities, which is unpleasant and which happens because we're human and we're precarious and peculiar creatures, but it's like that. When we're in those, a lot of times what we're mad at are the things that we're either fighting ourselves or something that we have conquered or that we don't have an issue with. And I think with a level of compassion, it's like, look, we just all people trying to do the best we can do. And if we are truly a warrior for good, though, you feel me, which you two are, i.e. a leader, It would be like Sun Tzu said in The Art of War. And I'm going to say this, and it's not going to be what most people are going to think. He said the best warrior was one. What? One who shed no blood. Feel me? So in order to be the best warrior in those situations, if you're a warrior for good, it's your duty to figure out how to transcend that and turn that energy. You heard? Because you already see the issue, you must be able to come up with a resolution. Feel me? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. And I could be, and I am. But you know what I'm saying. But I don't mean I ain't right.
That's powerful. I definitely agree with that. You said that's one of the hardest things where you don't shed the blood. It's so easy to, there's another, I live by tons and tons of quotes. So one of them is, it's easy to do the wrong thing and hard to do the right thing. So it's easier to like just go, say, sit on the couch, watch TV instead of reading a book or going into like a networking event because it takes a little energy. So it's easier to do the wrong thing than the right thing. But when you do the right thing or go against that resistance, then that's when you start to evolve and become a better version of yourself and create greatness. So thank you for that's awesome. Okay. Next question I have for you is, okay, is there anything else you'd like to share about socializing and building a community that we haven't covered thus far?
I would say, yes. We're all in this together. If we're here in this country, irrespective of whatever, number one, we have to be cool with being American. I understand. Hey, you look at me. I get it. I am not like I'm escaping anything. I'm in the same pot of stew. And if this brother can sit here and say in earnest and in integrity that the only thing I see that is going to help us establish the rapport with the community, because, you know, we have the language that says property. To say that we have to build means that it is not already built. It's already built, but there are aspects of it which is broken. So I think that it'd be wise to look at it in terms of mending the fences and not necessarily creating something, because that'll be throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And there are many beautiful things that we have in our community that we should, as it says in Philippians, concentrate on the good of what you got, and then work on those things in which we need to shore up. Feel me? From a rational, balanced perspective, taking the emotion out of it. And I think that number one, we're going to have to bury what has happened. That doesn't mean forget. But we need to only remember to ensure that we do not repeat it, not remember it in order to re-traumatize ourselves over what has happened. Because even though it is wrong, it is still traumatizing. And it comes a point to where we have to love ourselves enough to be able to take the good aspects of our journey, infuse those with what we have, which is awesome within this culture, and then use that to work, change that energy, Aikido, karate, to make this a better place. That's not easy, for sure. But yet and still, it is effective and it works. And in the process, no one gets hurt, more importantly. And then true healing can happen in safe spaces. And then we can create a safe space to be able to heal. It's not going to happen overnight. But we all, of all race, creeds, cultures, and orientations, I believe the first step would be to stop re-traumatizing ourselves with what was and move forward. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would say.
I think that's very powerful. Like, look towards progressing forward rather than look at the past and everything that went on in the past. And just to segue, but kind of look at the past a little bit there. When you were first getting started in entrepreneurship, did you have any fears? And if so, like, how did you overcome that fear, or were you just kind of fearless going in?
Fear happens every day. Courage is going on in spite of the fear. So yes, I've always been wired to be courageous. I was the guy in the family who, you know, my story, my father, Richard J. Ridley Jr., integrated the fire department in Fort Wayne in the 60s. So he's the first Black firefighter. So was under that. My biological father was a drug and alcohol and domestic violence abatement counselor. He ran an agency. Okay, so My mother was very involved with the elderly and with foster children. She was on the mayor's commissions and things of that nature. The city of Fort Wayne had actually honored her upon her passing in '08. So that's kind of the crucible I was raised in, if you will. You know what I'm saying? We grew up on the South Side, whereas, there's all of us out there. I grew up in the crack area. So a lot of friends passed away that I know. It's a pretty rough place. And as all places are, but it's definitely, it is what it is, which created some of the most beautiful people, some of the most roses in that concrete that I've ever seen in my life. Of course, I'm going to say that because I'm from there. I have to honor that, as other places and every other place as well. I'm thinking about that question. That's a good question. I got off on the tangent. Replay it to me again as I was going to the family thing. I apologize. I was like, wow, yeah, that is true.
Sure.
You're bringing up stuff that I ain't thought about in years, brother. Stop it.
Well, that actually might lead into the next question, the way they kind of work together. Because I guess I'll kind of repeat the question Darrell asked and then add it to the one that the next one that I'm going to ask. It's so what Darrell asked was, when did you start to pursue entrepreneurship, and did you have any fears initially, and how did you overcome that? Which you pretty much did answer. But then the second part of that would be, when did your why click, and like what caused you to be where you are today, the success you've created thus far, and the success you will create in the future? When did your why click that you knew that, okay, this is the path that you want to go on?
When I realized that it chose me, I tried to do everything the way that I was from your video about how you're talking about how a lot of people are doing things one way, and you're like, hey, I got to do something some other way. You know what I'm saying? And people think that it has to go like this, and there's a lot of more opportunities. Same for me. When I finally got in, I think it was my 40s, man, early when I turned 40, and I realized that I'm not going to fit in that hole. I'm a square peg. And corporate America required a certain type of demeanor that as you obviously see, I don't have. I'm too expressive for. And other industries and fields that I would try to be in, doing it the right way, didn't work. But when I was my unorthodox self, when I was who I was, quirks and all, then things started opening up for me. And what I realized was when I started being authentic, and when I was also okay with not fitting in, because I never fit in anyway. I tried to in various ways, you know what I'm saying? But now I had gotten to the point, like when I was 40, that I didn't need that anymore. And I was like, you know what, I'm cool with that guy in the mirror. And before I couldn't say that. I could not say I'm cool with that guy in the mirror. I may act like it. I may dress nice, man. I may do all them things and look me out, check me out, look at my art. Yeah. But inside, I didn't feel that way about this guy. That's why I was doing all that, because I didn't feel right about this guy. And then when I finally started feeling right about this guy, like I said, I was 40. Like on my 40th birthday, I woke up and said, what are you doing? Bro, you're straight. Okay, yeah, let it go. You cool. No, you ain't got the biggest muscles. No, you ain't got the car. No, there's a lot of things you ain't got. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot of that going on in my mind, negative talk, man. And then when I turned 40, all of a sudden, I kind of got tired of it. I said, forget it. I'm cool. And I'm going to be the unorthodox me, the unique me, as they would call it, in spite of whatever. And I think that was the win. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying. I think you just answered our next question here by default, but I'll just ask if you want to add anything to it. I mean, why do you think it's important for people not to just live a mundane life? And I think you kind of already answered that, but if there's anything you'd like to add to that, go for it.
I don't see it as being wrong, someone living a mundane life, if that's what they enjoy. I am a strict critic of someone doing something in their life where they're not enjoying their life. Not saying that, oh, my job sucks or I work or so and so. Okay, no one really wants to work like that anyway. Sorry, it's called toil. It was one of the punishments for Adam. It was a punishment for a reason. So no, we're not going to like work. Okay, so now that we got that out the way, we're not going to like work. But outside of that is what we're doing, whether that's to be able to still come home and see your children, whether that's to curl up on the bed and read a book on Saturday, on Sunday, go to church, Monday through Friday, just go to work, then come back home and then rest. If that's your thing, go for it, because we also need that too. We can't all be running out in the streets, go-getters like that. Ant colonies don't work that way. Bee colonies don't work that way. Everyone has a role and there is a time for everything. And I think that oftentimes, I hear what you're saying about mundane. So I would say mundane meaning unhappy. We're just on semantics though, but we're saying the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Because the connotation when people think mundane, a lot of times it's 9 to 5, kids, picket fence, boom, 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 boom. Well, regimented. And there's nothing wrong with a regimented, disciplined experience. To keep society going, that needs to be the bulk of society. I just think the lions need to go out and be lions, though. Those that want to go out and that's what they do, go. If you have that type of nature where you're a go-getter, you want and hell or high water, you're gonna make it, then those people will feel like it's mundane. See what I'm saying? You know.
That's powerful. Yeah, totally. Yeah, you know what? That's a good way to look at it. Like, yeah, not everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur or multimillionaire or, you know, do all this stuff. But if you, like you said, if you feel that you're meant to do that and you are in that life, then yeah, you get yourself out of that box if that's what you feel. That's awesome. Okay. Okay. Well, the last question I think we have for today is, how can people find out more about you and the Nik Free Show and how to contact you if they want to talk to you a bit more?
Awesome. Nik Free Show, nikfreeshow.com, and that's NIKFREESHOW.com. Also, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. The handle is at Nik Free Show. So all the contact information, episodes, podcasts, all of that. If you ever want to check out the podcast live when I promote it, then you can just go to my website. It automatically populates in the player. So I would say that, you know, go there, check me out. Please like our page. Please like my man's Facebook page, their YouTube pages rather. And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. And with that, thank you so much, Nik. I'll just go ahead and throw on kind of a side thing here. If anybody's kind of looking for inspiration, looking for ways to improve that type of thing, definitely check out Gregg's own site, which is planetgreenzen.com. He's got a lot of great resources there to help you go ahead and do just that. So
thank you. And if you guys are looking to, you should join this specific mastermind. If you want to get a little bit more in life, or you just want someone to hold you accountable, definitely check in with Darrell. He'll have a link in the description below to actually fill out an application to become part of this mastermind. He'll give you details on how that works. So again, if you want to become part of this, be held accountable, just grow yourself and your family's life, go ahead and connect with Darrell. He'll let you know how to do so.
Yeah, thank you for that, Greg. And finally, again, thank you so much for being with us today, Nik. You gave a lot of great value here for people who are looking to build a community, looking for that social aspect, build that social aspect in within their life and within their lifestyle. So I really appreciate it. I know Greg does as well. And thank you for being with us today on Inside the Mastermind.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. All right. Well, that's all of Inside the Mastermind for today. Thank you so much for watching, and till next time.
All right. See you guys.
Peace.